Hi, everybody. Welcome to a very special episode of Double D-Fense, and we have some extremely special guests with us today. Welcome to the show, Adam and the Metal Hawks.
How's it going,
Hey
everybody?
guys.
Hello.
Yeah, real quick, I wanted to introduce. We have Adam, we have Dylan, we have Johnny, we have Ryan, also known as Adam and the Metal Hawks. And hey, we're meeting with you guys today because let's just tell you a little bit about these guys. They released an album in 2023 called Hurry Up and Wait. You guys have been traveling all over, and you kind of dipped into our world a little bit in the NHL by singing the national anthem for the Devils and also for the Mets recently, right?
And we won't hold either of those things against you, we promise.
Good.
We've just recently, the past couple of years, have been doing these national anthems, and they've been really great. Just being able to come support a sports team and perform at the same time, it's been really, really awesome. And through Boomer and Geo, we are kind of meeting some other sports organizations and hopefully just kind of spreading to every sport there is.
Nice. So for everybody else outside of New York, so Boomer and Dio, as I'm learning, they're a morning sports and entertainment radio show, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. With Boomer Esiason.
Talk radio sports shows out there, and we're just honored to kind of work with them each time they invite us back. It's
nice.
Really nice.
Oh, they kind of want you back. So I did see that Boomer Esiason is a big Rangers fan. So raise your hand if you like sports in general. I know one of you does. Raise your hand. Yeah.
Was it me? I think it was me.
No, it's Griffin. So Griffin, who's your sports teams?
So the big four for me are the Mets, the Knicks, the Jets, and the Islanders.
And the Islanders. You guys are from Long Island, so that's okay. So, and to be fair, I started off as an Islander fan because I too am from Long Island. I'm from Freeport, Baldwin area. And and Nassau Coliseum was just 10 minutes away. So, and I might be a little older than you guys. So I was, there in the 80s when the Islanders were winning the Stanley Cup. So, it was hard not to be a Mike Bossy fan, but it was also not hard to be a Ron Duguay fan. So for the Rangers, because he was, when you're a teenager, he was good looking. He was like the Bon Jovi of hockey. So yeah, you guys. So how did you guys get on? Get on this show with Boomer and Dio?
So I think they kind of reached out to us after seeing some of our social media videos. I think they're both kind of fans of music. I know Gio was a musician for a while and wanted to maybe be like a music teacher or something in the music field. He's a great talker. So he's definitely, they're both really awesome guys just to meet. And so they kind of reached out and they wanted us to come on their radio show. And when they started doing live shows, they had us come and be kind of the house band for the evening. So
nice.
We've done a couple of those Boomer and Geo live, and we've also done some summer kickoff shows with them over on the Jersey Shore. They'll do like a live kickoff to summer for their shows with WFAN. So we're happy to jump up and kind of play some songs in between them talking about sports, of course. So it's been really cool just being able to reach a new audience for us. And maybe these people are not as active on social media or TikTok, especially. So to be able to get in front of these people is really awesome.
Yeah, I kind of bridging that gender gap with all the different forms of social media, right? So if only one of you is involved in sports, really, are you learning? Are you becoming interested in it? You guys have just done recently. So one of the last New Jersey Devils home games is when you guys performed. So I was kind of watching part of that backstage. You have a great manager who likes to kind of video things. So it's fun to get a backstage look at some shows and kind of closer than you can normally be. So how did that go? I really want to know, the difference between maybe performing in front of a rock crowd, and in the other performances you've had, and doing not only the Devils arena, which holds 16,000 people, but but the Mets, that arena holds 40,000 people. So what did you like about it? What did you didn't like about doing that?
I can tell you what we all didn't like about it.
I know.
So you were from
I know what you're going to say.
Okay.
you want the people who work at Citi Field. The staff at Citi Field are the best. They're amazing. But she said to us, so there might be a bit of latency, just a little bit. So we get out there, we do the sound check, and it was fine, but they didn't put it through those speakers. So when we got there and did it for real, it was probably about half a second. So when you sang, say, it was like probably the worst delay I've ever heard. And it was really hard to follow and focus. So Adam was like viciously conducting us in front. So we stayed together and we found our way. And it was just this magical moment that we had. It was a packed house. It was like bobblehead night or something. So it was like 40,000 people in the seats. It was really amazing. And they told us afterwards that it was like the best of the season. The players absolutely loved it. So it was a good feeling. And as a Mets fan, that's a dream come true for me. So
yeah, I think they actually what did they hit like 3 runs in the first inning or something right after we
Oh, so you guys
Right.
Did the
Yeah.
Devils win that night? I think the Devils were playing Nashville. Did they win that night when you guys were there? The Devils?
Did they win or did they lose?
I don't remember.
I don't know. Either way, it's good luck, right?
They might have-
Let's pretend they won for argument.
Yeah, I think they won.
Let's pretend they won. Yeah.
And have you guys ever had to do the Canadian national anthem?
Not yet, but we're open to it. I'll learn it. Oh, Canada.
It is
Yeah,
a nice song. I really love it.
Especially
Nowadays,
with the echo.
nowadays they just have the crowd sing it, so you don't even really have to do much work. If you
Sure.
go and
I'll just be the conductor.
Yeah, that's their thing. So, a lot of times too, they say the national anthem is really one of the hardest songs to sing. So when you're singing it, what goes through your mind, like as you're singing it?
So, I would agree that that's probably one of the hardest songs to perform just because it's something that everybody knows. Everybody has heard it before and they know kind of what they like and what they don't like. And if you touch on something that they don't like, boom, it could ruin the whole song. So when we were kind of coming up with our arrangement of it, we wanted to keep it super classic and just really pay respects to the original song while still throwing our little twist on it. We throw a lot of harmonies in there to kind of really fill it out, and we throw some guitars in there. So we make it our own, but I think the arrangement itself is very classic, and we've gotten a lot of great feedback, especially from some like veterans and families of veterans saying that they really love our rendition. And so that's the highest honor we could receive for it.
That's excellent. Congratulations. A lot of the sports teams now, are throwing in their own words like during the song too, which I don't know if you've experienced that yet when you performed it, but I feel like that could be off-putting for someone when you're trying to kind of go through your arrangement and do it respectfully,
Right.
And especially if the crowd is hearing it like half a second later, that has to absolutely throw you as a performer.
Yeah, especially when you almost hear the echo more than you hear yourself because the speakers are so loud that it's hard to kind of internalize and just stay in your own head and keep it going consistently. But we got through it. That was good.
So you're not performing the national anthem in the upcoming tour to Vegas and LA. You're not going to be doing it with
it's not in our regular set. Not yet, at least. Maybe if we get a bunch of requests for it.
Christine will be in the front row. She's going to be playing the national anthem.
I know all the words. So that's fun. Now, when you're performing, and it kind of goes to both. I know we're kind of starting on the sports aspect of it, and we're going to talk about, more of you guys as a band too. Do you have any like pre-gig like rituals or anything that you do? Because, sports and especially hockey, they're very superstitious. They're very ritualistic. Do you guys have anything that you're pretty, consistent on doing before a gig?
Yeah. So, like I said, we have a lot of harmonies going on. So we like to do some vocal warm-ups and run through just get our voices acclimated. Sometimes like one room will be like a little drier or it'll be super hot or something. So you want to make sure that your voice is ready for anything. So we kind of go through that, and kind of maybe get a meal as a band after a sound check, and just kind of get mentally ready for putting on a great show. And it's been working so far, so we'll keep it up.
Nothing, like no weird writer requests or anything that you have when you're performing, like
Not yet. No green M&Ms here, but
I was gonna say the exact color. That's so funny. What would you have if you can put something fun on a writer? What would you do? You have anything in mind?
Just like the classic catering is always nice. Tons of water bottles. But yeah, I mean, we're not too picky in that respect. I would say, at least not yet. We haven't had the need to really throw anything on there. But there have been bands in the past, like the green M&Ms supposedly was because they wanted to make sure that each venue was paying attention, because they had a lot of kind of almost dangerous aspects of their show, that if something was set up wrong or some detail was overlooked, it could, really hurt people. So that was more of a safety precaution, but, maybe we'll figure out something in the future similar. That could be good.
Then it gets to be fun.
Yeah.
So Griffin, as an Islander fan, I know that you guys all got these wonderful jerseys, for the, performing. So what do you do with your collection of wonderful, opponent gifts that you get?
Well, I appreciate it, and it really depends. Like if I hold on to them and I appreciate them for what they are, but obviously I have to stay loyal to my
to your team. We understand.
Also, not for nothing, but the jerseys that we got from New Jersey Devil just says Jersey on the front. So it could really be for any team. It's just saying it's a jersey.
It's very meta. I give the Devils
jersey.
I give the Devils a lot
They're
of credit for that.
too, right?
They knew nobody wanted to advertise New Jersey.
Well, a lot of the teams were learning too. If you didn't know, like a fun thing is some of their, like, the Panthers. That was the new thing because their home jerseys say Panthers and their away jerseys say Florida. So
that's cool.
So that's kind of fun. So a lot of them, teams are kind of doing that, and most of us don't even take notice. But it's interesting if you're new to the sport, and so forth. So so always kind of a fun fact. So did you guys learn anything new when you were at the down at playing with the Devils and that whole game? Because you guys also performed in between periods, right?
Yeah, so I mean, one of the newer things, we kept saying the halftime show, but there's 3 periods, so it's not really that. It's a 2/3 show, I guess. But
that's a new term. You're right.
Yeah. So you pick up little things here and there, but yeah, it's really cool to just kind of after you do the anthem, you're walking around in the stands, and people are just like, "Hey, that was a great job, man! Good job! Oh man!" Blah, blah. And you get some people that recognize us from social media that want to take a picture or something. So it was really cool just meeting our fans and everything, and just performing for such a large crowd is nice.
That's fun. I've heard from people, like, especially when they honor like military, that they're so overwhelmed, by the treatment in the stands. I've seen them get really emotional. So I can imagine, even though you guys perform in bands, it's that expected arena, and now you're in a different element, so then you got a bunch of different things. You got the nice support, and you have some fans, and then you have, old new fans and new fans. Exciting. Very exciting. So let's talk about your band. So I was reading a little bit, and so I want to know where Metal Hawks came from. I know, Adam, you're going to come in later, so into the picture to create the full name. But it looks as though the Metal Hawks were created when you guys were kids. So where did that come from?
Yeah, so it started with Johnny about 10 years ago, and then I came in not long after the fact because we met at a school talent show where I was singing and he was with his band. Their singer quit the following year. I auditioned, nailed it. I've been with them ever since. We had another drummer in the band for a while. We were on the local scene. And then Adam was working on a solo project. They needed a band, and we said, "Hey, we'll do it." I was playing bass and singing at the time, so it was kind of an ego blow to go from front man to bass playing front man to just a bass player. But if you know the way he sings, and I'm sure you do,
Yeah.
you knew that I would be like totally fine with it. Like, this dude sings way better than me. let me just step aside, man. And I don't
You
regret
harmonize
one bit.
really well, so that there's something key to that too when all of you guys can do that.
Yeah. I think that's kind of something special that our band brings back to the music world. I don't think there are many bands that really bring like 3-part harmonies vocally. And so once we added Griffin to the mix, I think it really steps us up a notch. And especially with this new album that we put out last year called Hurry Up and Wait. And we're also writing new songs. So keeping that classic rock feeling and bringing that energy to 2024, I feel like that's kind of what our band is trying to do.
That sounds good. So Johnny, the creation of the band is kind of yours, right? And where did that name come from? Like, how did you come up with Metal Hawk?
So what we were doing at schools, we had mohawks, the whole band, and we would dye them blue.
What happened to them?
I don't know.
Hold on.
There we go.
Some of you can still pull it off.
I never had one. Full disclosure, I never had them all. Just him.
We had mohawks. We only played about like 2 to 3 shows, and they were like the school talent shows. And, that was really it. We were just like the cool kids in school with the band, And then I remember meeting Ryan and seeing him sing. And I was like, oh, my God, this kid is like the best singer I've ever seen. It's like Ryan to Adam, it's the same thing. So then our singer left, and then we got Ryan. So then, then the story continues.
The story continues. And so, Adam, how did you meet these guys? Because then it sounds like 2019 is when you guys kind of got together.
I was coming off of American Idol and just doing some kind of local gigs with some cover bands in the area, just keeping the cogs greased. And I had just heard of this kind of local group that was just killing it, like, really talented young guys. I'm like, all right, I mean, I'll check them out. Like, we needed a band for this project that we were working on, and so it kind of all fell into place. I knew from the first practice that it was like, this is like a band right here, So we just took Metal Hawks, boom, Adam and the Metal Hawks. And it just kind of flew seamlessly together. It was great.
Nice. Yeah. So the background too, I was reading about you guys too. So nice background. So, I'm gonna start really quick, Adam, because you mentioned it, the American Idol. So was it 2015?
Yeah.
2015. Yeah. So how'd you do there? How'd that go on American Idol? It's on right now. Like, well, not right. I think it's on tonight later, but it's still going. It's still a wonderful thing. How was that experience for you?
It was really great. I made it to the top 13, and the whole experience was just kind of fun, meeting a lot of cool, music industry people, obviously very talented contestants, and, meeting the judges. I had J-Lo and Harry Connick Jr., Keith Urban, Ryan Seacrest, meeting him. It was all very cool seeing the behind the scenes and traveling around and that kind of thing. So I would say the experience was just a lot of fun. I just went on just to see how far I could go. Music has always been a huge part of my life, and singing and performing is what I love to do. So I just thought, let me try my luck and see how it goes. See what they think.
Did you go further than you thought you would? I mean, that's pretty far.
Oh yeah. I mean, I had only ever sang with just my local theater group. I was a theater kid in high school, middle school. So I always loved performing and making people smile. So I just wanted to see how far I could go. I wasn't expecting anything. Maybe just, I just want to get to Hollywood, and they just kept having me. I was like, all right, let's go.
Nice. I think you guys are
That's
going to be
very
here
cool.
next week. So,
Yeah,
and
I will be
Back to
back.
Hollywood.
I know we're gonna do full circle. And so yeah, then not and someone else. I think you've toured. Is it Griffin? Like, have you toured with other bands too already in your long span, band life here? So tell me about that experience.
So I started touring when I was about, I want to say 19. I was in school for music, and I had met these guys who were in this like thrash metal band. That was kind of like Motorhead-esque style music. And that's how I got my start touring. We were just kind of doing van tours across the country. And then I did that for a while, about a few years. And I was still in like a million bands on the island, just trying to make it and trying to get my name out there. And eventually I started playing with these guys called Prong. And Prong, they're not too well known, but they're old and they've been around a long time, and they have a lot of credit, and a lot of major artists like Terra, Metallica, they'll credit Prong for basically being an influence for that style of metal. And I spent about a year and a half with them on the road, and in the middle of that, I met these guys, and I had gotten a call from their old drummer at the time. He wanted to pursue an education and move on and not really want to be involved in music anymore. And he gave me a good vote of confidence to audition for them. And at the time, I didn't really think that, I wasn't sure about it because I had a good thing going with Prong, and I wasn't, confident about trying to juggle like two really big bands. But I did it, and it worked out. And I'm no longer with Prong, but I love them all, and we left on as best terms as possible. And I gained a lot of experience from that. I saw a lot of amazing places and met a lot of people. But there's just something about creating something that's yours that is rewarding, and it's hard, and it's a lot harder. With Prong, I was creating, but it wasn't really mine. It was really Tommy Victor, who's the guitar player. It's his band. So I'm coming into a situation where now it's my band. And as a collective, we're creating something together as opposed to just sitting in and playing the songs that have been around for 30 years. So I made a decision for my life to want to just create something that's mine, and that's what's going on.
Excellent. And with that, so here's a question I have for you. Like, we know you're a rock band, but can you describe like your music and genre in 3 words?
I
Maybe
mean,
4, but 3.
I already said 3 words. I mean, there you go. No, I would say probably like obviously rock has to be one of them. Definitely energy. That's 2. Somebody else jump in.
Cool. We're really
So
close enough.
I mean, like I said, we're all influenced by classic rock.
That's right.
I'm sure through our parents. A couple of us were kind of introduced to rock music through our since we were a child, maybe even an infant, and so I think it's kind of in our blood to kind of have that classic rock feeling, and so yeah, I mean, maybe the 3rd word's classic, just classic rock energy. There you go. Like we're trying to bring that back.
And you guys are, I just wanted to ask, you guys are going on tour soon with a band that probably maybe has influenced you. I don't know. Do you want to talk about who you're going on tour with and what that looks like?
Yeah, so the end of this year, we just announced it that we're going to be on tour with Bowling for Soup, which was an awesome invitation from them. And shout out to Jarrett, the lead singer. Super awesome band. We got to see them perform in Key West when we were there for a festival, and their live show is just incredible. The energy and just the showmanship, I'll say. And so when we got that invite, it was amazing, and we can't wait. We're going to be all down the west coast of the United States
and Canada too. You may have an opportunity to sing that Canadian national anthem after
That's
all.
true.
Start practicing.
Might have to stop by a hockey match over there.
Hey, it'll be the season, so I know it's at the later into the year. So it sounds like none of your parents are surprised that you've chosen this career path then, right?
Yeah,
not at
we're
all.
lucky to have very supportive family behind us, and our management team it's all like invaluable teamwork going on behind the scenes to make this happen.
Yeah, you like coming from Long Island, people have to remember how many really good bands and classic, historic kind of bands have come out of Long Island, and I'm sure a lot of those guys have been inspirational for you as well. And I think there's pressure in that too, knowing, these guys who've come out of the Long Island music scene, too. So, but you're a new generation of music, and you're kind of bringing your own twist to it. It's great. So out of all the places that you've been to, and I know you guys have been to a lot because I've seen a lot of it through Facebook, and you're all over, from a lot of local, gigs and performances to private events, and we're going to talk more about that as you kind of are making your way out to the West Coast this week. But do you have a favorite, like right now, like a favorite performance or favorite place that that you've played at that you just really stands out for you?
I would say so far.
Johnny needs to talk more.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but I would say, go ahead, Johnny. You haven't spoken.
All right. No,
Rare.
you got this.
All right, I guess I got it.
I'll go ahead.
So far, I think at least my favorite show that we've ever done was Riverside Open Air in Aarberg, Switzerland, playing in front of 20,000 people. That was one of the first major festivals in Europe that we had ever done, and the show went great. The crowd absolutely loved us. And then about 10 or 15 minutes later, we went up. There were bleachers on one side of the stage, and we had to go up those bleachers to get to the catering hall for the bands. And as we were walking up those bleachers, people were standing up and going crazy, giving us a standing ovation. and one of the girls that was working merch was with us, and she was like, "Is anybody else really uncomfortable right now?" And I'm like, "Nope, this is freaking awesome." So that was
all the groping. Was there groping? Was there groping and touching and screaming?
No, none of that.
Oh, dang it!
I know. I was gonna say
it was.
Those are wait. I'm sorry. That was me back in the day when I was doing all that. So
she worked the festival a few times prior to us arriving there, and she said she'd never seen anything like that for a band that had never done it before. It was pretty mad chaos at the to do merch afterward, and it was just I can't remember half of the experience. That was just kind of it was just a blur to me, but it was it was disorganized, and you were dealing with 100 people trying to get a look at us and trying to take pictures with us. And it was a gratifying feeling. It was really great. And, that was a crowd in particular that I feel we kind of had to win over a little bit, because I felt for the first couple of songs, they were just yay, look at the guys trying. And if you could feel that energy. But as we continued, it definitely felt they were just they could see it for what it was. And we were on it that night. It was a great show. And yeah, like Ryan said, it was just a gorgeous view. The Alps are in the background. There was a rainbow that appeared at one point. They were cats grazing in the backfield. It was just such a picturesque.
With the big cowbells they have too.
It was just exactly how you would picture Switzerland, but from a stage.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Is that yours too, Johnny? Unless you have a different one.
It was mine. They stole. They stole
Sorry,
it.
John.
And that's a big one. So, on the other side of that is, since you've done that and that's been your most, there's two ways to go here. I can go with what's your kind of weirdest and craziest thing, and then the next one will be where would you want to go? So, do you have a crazy experience, or not least favorite, but just a memorable crazy experience that you've had?
Yeah.
There's been a few weird ones, but nothing that I can just like come up with off the top of my head. Like if somebody says something, I'll say, "Oh yeah, that was so freaking weird."
This one was weird, but it was a great show. But it was like the fact that this venue is able to do this astounds me. So we had a show in Toronto, and we played at this venue called Sneaky D's. And when first of all, there's no way to get to the stage except up these rickety stairs and then through the crowd and then up the stage. And the stage itself was like, it was like a dive, but up the stairs. It was a really cool experience. But we packed the place out, hundreds of people in the audience, but it was just so unsafe. And it was shaking up there while we were playing. People were jumping and the room was shaking. And they were just like, I don't know how they're able to get away with like having shows there without like the whole thing screams like fire hazard. The whole thing, the whole experience. And my management was flipping out. Danny was like a mess, and it was crazy. So that was definitely one that was memorable in terms of just like, how do we even do this?
Yeah. I mean, being on the road and touring, like we did a UK tour with a tour bus. So lots of crazy things occur, as you can imagine, just traveling and living out of a tour bus. And we just did our another tour down the East Coast at the beginning of this year. And, you never know what you're walking into with these kind of shows. And sometimes you come in and it looks like, the best place that you've ever played. And you're like, oh my God, look at all these ornate tapestries and carvings in the walls and the, auditorium and everything. And then sometimes you have to, oh yeah, just down the stairs over there, and you crammed into the corner, and you go down to like a seedy like like a pool hall
dungeon. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right there in the corner, like so you never really know what you're getting into. That's kind of the life on the road aspect of it, but you gotta love it for what it is.
Absolutely. You're going to have great stories and memories. Like one of the things about doing this and living life as a band and traveling is, you're doing, you're just out there living life and enjoying the moment and experiencing everything.
And so once you get onto that stage and play the show, I mean, that all the weird, wacky things that could happen just kind of melt away, and you're just there with the audience. And as long as you're having a good show, they're having a good show. That's all you can really ask for.
Like I say in general. Like when you're on tour, like nobody sees like the stuff that goes on behind the scenes unless you're like in it. But that 1 hour that you're on stage makes the other 23 hours of BS and headaches and like worries. That 1 hour makes those other 23 hours so worth it. And that's how I've looked at it, pretty much my whole career.
Yeah. Oh, that's fun. We're going to want the good stories when you guys are out here in October. So make sure you take note. And then when we have you guys on again in October, then we'll have some really good, like better stories and stuff. Like now that we know each other, we're going to want to get a little bit more in depth. We have some of those behind the scenes things. So that's why. So again, where would you want to play? So you've been in Switzerland, you've traveled the UK, you've gone, you've traveled, now you're worldwide travelers. Where's a place that you want, like your dream place to play besides Madison Square Garden, which is where I would love to go?
Oh, damn it. I was going to say that.
Dang it. Sorry. I was just thinking right now.
What about I have two. There's two places. Well, three, if you want to. Like if you're talking about specific venues, I mean, there's Jones Beach Theater, of course.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen a million shows.
Yeah.
You can do the beach. You can do summer one. Is that what you guys want to do?
What's that?
Do you guys want to do it in the summer, like when it's all hot, like when everyone's doing it? I think Joan Jett's playing there soon. So
I mean, yeah. I mean that just to say we did it. That feels like a very good moment for us as people, as Long Islanders who just grew up going to see shows. Some of my idols at that venue. That would be a very cool thing. But I'd love to go to Brazil. I've been to Brazil with Prong, but I would love to do it with these guys. We have fans in Brazil, so I think shows down there would be exceptional. And Japan. I feel like Japan is a place that I would absolutely love to see and just experience that. And that's definitely up there for me, Japan.
Nice. How about you, Johnny?
Quiet.
Quiet.
Going to theater and probably Japan. Yeah, it's probably Japan. I was Japan before. Japan would be, I think people love us out.
I think next time we're just going to have Johnny on just to let him make sure he gets his time.
So go ahead.
I would just add Australia to that list. I think that'd be super cool to go to. All the crazy wildlife. And I've heard that the fans are very, excited about new people coming there and just getting into a new band. So I feel like that would be pretty cool.
New music. Yeah. You guys are ready. You guys are definitely going to be world travelers.
You get the passports. Yeah, get the passports. Start working on all the anthems. You need to know. You have to do the Australian national anthem now, the Japanese national anthem. That's a lot of.
There's a new album. I can see it. Just all the variations of the national anthem. No one's done it.
National anthem.
Dang it. We always have great ideas on the show.
So before we wrap up, where can people find you? Are you on social media? Like, tell us a little bit about if fans want to check out your music, where can they find it?
So the big thing that we want to tell our fans right now is that we are coming to the West Coast this week. We have a show in Vegas at the Space LV, and we also are playing at the Whiskey A Go-Go, legendary, right in California. So check out those shows, everybody. And of course, you can find us at amhband.com, but any social media platform, be it YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, AMH, or you could find us Adam and the Metal Hawks. But if you type in AMH Band in any social media platform, you'll find our faces.
So you'll be out here this week. I will be excited. I will be at the show. I'm looking forward to meeting you guys in person. Liz is taking off out of the country for work, so she'll have to catch you on the next round. And then you'll have these West, and then you're going to be back. So as we were talking earlier about you're doing a tour with Bowling for Soup. All those dates you can find on your website as well for the upcoming fall, leg of their tour, which will bring you on West Coast and up into Canada too. So gives you plenty of time to practice that national anthem, and
we'll be ready.
We'll be ready for you. And then hopefully we see you at more sports games, definitely more, NHL games. And I'd love to see you guys do, the Islanders and the Rangers. Rangers better. Islanders, I'm just for you. So
we'll do them both. Do them
all. I think you do them all.
Yeah.
So you got lots of choices and options. and just shout out to Collier Entertainment, who's your management, and and all the great work that they do, and bringing you around the country and keeping you guys on your toes. I know they're good about doing that. So so with that, one last thing I just want to kind of close with, and for any any new and upcoming bands, like since you guys are seasoned professionals and kind of wearing it, do you have any advice for any of these these younger people kind of trying to get their foot in the door and create a band?
See, I hate this question because there's no direct answer with these things ever. But my number one thing is just keep going. Keep practicing, get yourselves on social media, be creative about it. This industry really is dependent on luck. You really have to be lucky in this industry. But I do believe that, the harder you work and the more original you are, and the more you put yourselves out there and the more you practice your craft, the luckier you get, even if it's just that little bit. And above all else, do it because you love it. Because if you're just doing it for money, I don't know what to tell you. Go get a job in finance or some shit. Just do. I say do it because you love it, and just keep going, and don't ever give up.
Also, I say play in every possible band you can find, because that is how you get your name out there, and that is how you network. Before you know it, everyone on the scene will know your name, and that's how you find the best band you can.
You think you hate that question, but it's actually pretty good advice, because sometimes people just need the encouragement and to hear it, from other people who've done it. So it's never a bad thing to reinforce that with people. So that's good advice. So thank you guys for that. And thank you guys for being on with us. We look forward to you guys doing more sport things. We'll talk more, later in the summer or, in the fall when you guys are back out. We can't wait to have you guys back on again. And then for sure, I'll see you this weekend. So thank you guys again for joining us.
Yeah,
Everybody,
thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys.
Adam and the Metal Hawks. Yay!